So I get asked a lot what it's like to be a military spouse, especially with 3 kids. It can be a little hectic and crazy. So I figured I would sit down and just answer some questions, some Q&A questions for you guys. Some of these questions are about marriage, military life, and mom life. All the real juicy details. So here it goes. First question is, how did you meet your husband? We met in high school. Yes. I was a sophomore. He was a senior. Go figure. It was a lot of fun. Which answers another question. Did I know him before the military? Yeah, I did know him before the military. He actually didn't join the military till he did college for 2 years, and then he decided to join the military. What is the hardest part about being married to a military person? In my opinion, all of these questions are just my opinion only. I would say is being away from family and away from home and everything that you know. I can't go to the corner store and go get me a black plantains. I'm Dominican, so we love our plantains and our salami, and it's depending on where you live, you may not find those things. So that's a hard one. Another thing is I used to love doing my hair every week. I mean, now I have to do it at home, which is healthy for your hair. But I used to go to the salon and just get, princess treatment. What is the best part about military marriage? So the best part about military marriage would be that, in my opinion, would be that you get to move and meet new people, and that could be good or bad. But you get to move, see new places, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of people can say that they've lived in, I don't know, 5 different states in their lifetime, or countries, So that's a perk for sure. And of course, the benefits. Does military life make marriage stronger or harder? I think it depends on the person's marriage and the people that are in the marriage. Yeah, so we have a lot of friends that are still together and has been decades, and then we have some friends that are no longer together and it's been decades. So it just depends. How do you handle arguments when military life is already stressful? You don't argue, or you try to sit down and talk about it. Communication is huge in a marriage, and that's something that I would definitely recommend. In any marriage, communication, that is your person. You come together, you talk about things, and you work it out. And it just forms a beautiful team marriage, and that's what you want at the end. And you should be their safe space. It's not, another stressor for your person. At least you should understand that, but it just all depends, and life be life, and sometimes, so can't control that. All right, what is something people romanticize about military life that isn't true? That is a great question. Oh, you're a military spouse. Oh my god, what is it like? What is it like? You guys must be so rich. You guys must be so rich and live like the best life ever. Yeah, no, that is not the case. Actually, I don't think military personnel get paid enough for what they do. Yeah. So, what is something civilians don't understand about military families? What don't they understand? Moving every 3 years. Oops, you got to pick up and go and move your entire family across the country, or your entire family to another, country, or to another state every 3 years. I don't think many people are as flexible or are okay with being that flexible. I think that's something that people have a hard time, or they're just not open-minded enough to want to do that or comprehend that. Have you ever felt lonely being a military spouse? Absolutely. Absolutely. And the more years go by, the more closed off I become. I don't know if it's military life or just life in general, and I'm also in my 30s now, so it's just different. But there are, if I'm not, and I'm more of an ambivert. I'm not an introvert and I'm not an extrovert, and it just depends. I open up to whoever I want to open up to. That's just who I am, and it's really hard for me to trust people. So it's hard for me to make friends because I seek deep connections, and I seek, kind of like sister bonds when I want to friend you. So that can get, I rather quality over quantity, if that makes sense. I'd rather have 2 or 3 friends and have 1,000 friends and they're all fake. So, um, would you choose this life again knowing what you know now? I feel like I would choose my husband in any lifetime knowing what I know now. Whether it's in the military or not, you know, and I don't think neither of us ever thought of like, oh yeah, when I grow up, or I'm gonna be part of the military, or be a military spouse, or and being a military member. I don't think that's something that we grew up thinking that we were gonna be part of this lifestyle, but it just, I guess that's what God had in store for us, and it was part of our life plan. So yes. What is it like raising kids in a military family? Honestly, it is okay. The only downfall is, I would say that, moving. Small kids is one thing, but when they start understanding that we need to switch schools now, and they start making friends, and they start understanding and knowing that they're going to leave their friends behind and stuff like that, that gets a little difficult and very sad, to be honest. Like, yeah. What is the hardest part of being a military mom? Again, the moving, constant adapting, and it could be a superpower when they're older, but just, my heart breaks every single time. So I have 3 kids, and I have a 5-year-old. I'm sorry, he just turned 6. So I have a 4-year-old that will be 5 in August. I have a 6-year-old, and I have an 11-year-old. The 11-year-old definitely knows what's going on now, and I do feel for her every time we have to move. And then my other 2, they're just like, okay, for now, but we'll see how things go as we progress. My husband's been in about 14 years and 14 and a half years now. So our oldest has been through it all. Definitely the ride or die. How do you keep routines with 3 kids when life is unpredictable? Well, I am the type of person that I think I can be like, I guess I'm going to school for project management for a reason. I'm a huge planner. However, I do like to fill up my cup to the max. I overly do it sometimes, and I do it to myself. It's very stressful. But definitely, like, we're both very involved with the children and like their activities. We have routines down that work for us. You just have to find that for you and your family specifically, and routines and systems that work. I promise it's life-saving. Okay. Is military pay enough for a family of 5? I think once you get to a certain level in the military, it's good. But you got to get there first. And I think for a family of 5, that didn't happen overnight, obviously. So it's okay. But I do think that for what our service members do, they should definitely get paid way more than what they do. But yeah, budgeting, and it's just like regular life. Just like if you have a regular 9-to-5 job, you make your paycheck, you budget right, you make sure you do your, from the beginning of the beginning of your military career, with your spouse, I'd hope that you would set up like a 50-30-20 budget rule, which means like 50% of your check would pay off your bills, 30% will go to your wants, and then 20% will go straight to savings. And if you could save more, even better. And make sure you're investing too. I think that would set you up for success if you're living below your means. Definitely. What are some benefits military families get that people don't realize? There's a lot of little things. For example, Disney, we get discounts on Disney package deals. SeaWorld, I'm talking about attractions here. SeaWorld, I believe you get like 6 free tickets. Your whole family can go in for free, basically. We've done that through Orlando. I believe we don't get any flight discounts, so if you've ever heard of that, not true. At least we don't know of that. We do get, like, anywhere we go, if I always ask, hey, do you do military discount? And if they do, great, Definitely medical services, I would say, is a huge thing, especially nowadays, because I feel like healthcare is so expensive. So that's a huge perk, to be honest. I gave birth 3 times, and we didn't have to pay anything. I'm very thankful for that and grateful. What is the biggest sacrifice you have made as a military spouse? Okay, well, this is a huge one for me because, us as military spouses, I feel like we're not seen, or we're always left in our husband's shadows. But there are a lot of military spouses that, they give up their careers to put their career first. And we are basically the backbone to them. We are. um, we are their support system. So without us, I don't know, I don't know. But definitely, one huge sacrifice that I made was, well, let me tell you my story. So we joined the military. He joined the military, and then we got married. I moved down with him. We weren't married yet. We moved out. We weren't married yet. We both worked 2 jobs. He was not making close to. It wasn't enough to pay the bills, because we weren't married. So it was hard. So we both had 2 jobs. He had 2 jobs. I had 2 jobs. So he was in the military. And then after he got out of work, he would go and like do deliveries at like a Mexican restaurant where we were stationed. And then I worked in like an Old Navy. And then I also had like a waitressing job, which I'm very grateful for. Then after that, I went to work at Dunkin' Donuts. And this entire time, mind you, I'm going to college. I started college. I'm taking my prerequisites because I want to be a nurse. This is year 1, year 2, year 3. I believe year 3, we had our daughter. Things are starting to get a little bit more difficult for me to, go to school, because now we have to pay for daycare. Daycare is so expensive. Yes, I will say one of the perks of the military is they have the daycares, the CDCs on base, the child development centers on base, and they are way less expensive than what you would pay out in town. So that is a perk. And as I'm talking, I'm also thinking about other stuff that are perks. The commissary is a perk. This is out of the question that I'm supposed to be answering right now, because you can get meat, a lot of chicken, steak, turkey, all the meats on base for so much less money. So that is a huge plus. And then you have the military exchange, that's where you would get they have like a travel agency that you can get discount trips, like reservations to places overseas and stuff like that. But again, flights have never been on discount for me or my husband, so I don't know. But anyways, back to the sacrificing of what I've made sacrifices for. So the biggest sacrifice that I've ever made was putting my career in the back burner for a long time. But you know what? I did that for like 10 years, and the entire time I was going to school, taking prerequisites. Then I get to a duty station where I'm actually able to apply. Mind you, this is like a good 8 years in, okay? Just to paint you a picture. 8 years in. Then we get to a duty station when I'm actually able to apply, and I get waitlisted. Yeah, I got waitlisted at the university. So then I applied to the community college across the street, and I got into that program, which, yay. But then I got pregnant again with my son. I'm telling you, life happens, and I feel like, life just be lifing. So, I was pregnant, very pregnant. I was like, I'm doing this. I scheduled to give birth on a Thursday, and I did my clinicals before I had to deliver. Then I scheduled my delivery right after my clinicals. So I scheduled my clinicals so that I can give birth right after. Oh my God. I scheduled my clinicals. I spoke to my instructors, and I was able to get them to allow me to go to clinicals before I was due to give birth. I gave birth on a Thursday, and I was back at school on Monday because I was not playing any games. But again, life be life, and then COVID started, right? So this was March, the first week of March of 2020. I remember like it was yesterday, and I had my son in my arms, and I'm like this, like my tiny little 5-day-old baby, and I'm looking at the news, and I'm like, this is insane. We don't know what this is. I'm looking at him, I'm looking at the TV. I'm like, I don't want to leave my son. We don't know what this is. I can go back to clinicals next semester and, contract a bacteria or COVID and then bring it home to my 5-day-old son. Why would I do that? No. So I decided to withdraw voluntarily. I had really bad postpartum, so it was not a good time. So I just decided to withdraw voluntarily, and I was okay with that decision. And I was like, you know what? I'll just enjoy this time with him. while I have it, my mom was helping me, thankfully. And, you know, we moved after that. And then we moved, let's see. We moved and I was like, you know what, whenever we move, I'll go ahead and start again. So then when we moved, I tried to. And then I get pregnant again. I mean, with my daughter. It was 18 months after, and I'm pregnant with my daughter. And I'm like, you know what? At this point, I retried again, got into the school and in the other another duty station, another nursing program, got in, and then got in twice, fall semester, spring semester, and I like was like, no, you know, I just financially, I was just like, you know what, this is not it. There's a reason why all these obstacles have been put in my way. There's something better for me. There's something that God is trying to prevent, you know, in my life. So I'm just gonna follow what that is and just see where life takes me. And honestly, today I'm very grateful for that experience because I learned a lot. You know, I wish I would have woke up sooner, but I just was very determined to become a nurse. But it is what it is, right? I believe that God has his ways, and today I am still in school, but I have a really good job and I'm working on my master's degree. So, another perk is if you're a military spouse and you have not used My CAA, Google that and make sure that if you are thinking about going to school that you use that benefit, because you get $4,000 for free for your education. So look into that. Like, I wish I had like more questions that people would ask. What advice would you give? This is another one. What advice would you give someone about to marry into the military? Just make sure that, you know, this journey is a long journey and it's a tough one. I feel like with the right person, if you're with the right person, I feel like, and you guys get along and you guys communicate, and you guys do all the good things like marriage, good stuff, as a team and together, and, you know, you love each other, I feel like things work out and things can be very great. I don't regret this at all, and I don't think you would too, and I don't think you would either. But definitely you need to make sure that you and your partner are right here. You know what I'm saying? You're right here, because without that, there is nothing. Okay. And that concludes our Q&A for today. Thank you guys for watching, and if you have any other questions regarding like marriage, mom life, military life things, drop them in the comments below and I will definitely answer them for you as best as I can, from my experience, or I might just do another video to answer your question. And I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.